When I first started collecting watches, and I've brought this up a few times on my channel before, a watch that cost $300 was essentially a quartz watch that was a time only. It wasn't a dive watch. You didn't get a lot of specs. Today, you can get so much for $300 from a micro brand. They've really opened up the watch market to so many different people. For $300, you can get a dive watch that is 300 meters of water resistance with a special date feature on a bracelet in a watch roll. It's pretty incredible that you can get all those specs for under $300, and I'm talking about well under $300. Today, we're gonna take a look at a brand called MMI. I have featured them here on my channel a few times, and they make obviously very high spec watches for a very low price. Let's flip the camera and take a look at the Turret version 2. So I've featured a few MMI watches here on my channel. I featured their chronograph, but I've also featured the version 1 of the Turret, the version 2, that was a prototype. This is the version 2 again, however, this is a production model. It should be very close to that version 2 prototype that I had on the channel. It comes in the same packaging that Turrets have come in the past. This is a microfiber 3-pouch travel case, or pouch, whatever you want to call it. And of course you have a watch inside, just a warranty card. It is signed MMI right here, that's their logo. And that's really it, very simple, but this is not a very expensive watch at all. I'm gonna start out with price. Normally I don't, but this is a $375 watch with the exchange rate. That's what it comes out to. You get tons of lume on this watch. You get really good bezel action, and of course you get a very interesting date wheel. You can see that date wheel is right in the center, and it goes around the center of the dial, and the date actually is highlighted by a small bar which is loomed. This watch is the black sand version, so you get a black dial, and then you get that sort of sand creamy colored lume on the actual dial, on the indices, on that minute track, and then of course in the bezel. You even get that same lume in the crown. Now there is a ton of lume on this watch. Considering the price, it is pretty insane. You also get an H-link bracelet, which is very, very solid, and some of the biggest screws that I have seen in a bracelet. They are enormous. You could literally use a screwdriver that you get from the hardware store on this bracelet and get this sized up. It is really good. And then they also give you a lot of micro adjust in the very sort of generic buckle. However, they did go the extra mile, and there are 5 positions of micro adjust in the buckle. So there is a lot of attention to detail, even considering the price, even though the price on this watch isn't very high. So the hands on here are sort of a fence post hands, and then you have a little pip at the end of the second hand. Again, everything is loomed and liberally applied with lume. This is a 300 meter dive watch, not a 200 meter dive watch. Again, something a little bit extra. Not that you need the extra 100 meters of water resistance, but why not? You get a really nicely finished case. It's sort of reminiscent of some Seiko watches like the Shogun and the Samurai. You get some angles on the case. You get a thickness, even though it's a 300 meter dive watch, of only 13.6 millimeters. The crown on here is 6.9 millimeters, which is really good. Nice size crown. And then female end links, you get a true lug to lug, and the lug to lug is around 47.6, 48 millimeters at the actual bracelet, so it will wear like it's a 48 millimeter. And then of course the case itself is almost spot on at 40 millimeters. Bezel action on here is really nice. Let's listen. Really solid bezel action, sounds really good, feels great. Very thin bezel, and I believe it's an aluminum insert, and I'm not 100% sure of that, but I will put that down in the description below if I am wrong, but I believe it is an aluminum insert, and you do get a sapphire crystal which is slightly raised off of the case, and then of course the case back is just a screwed-in case back. You do of course get a screwed-in crown at 300 meters with quick release on the bracelet. Again, lots of little details here. And the bracelet, the case back, excuse me, is just brushed. And then of course you have the MMI logo, and then the traditional spec sheet on there. The bracelet, the buckle is also signed with the MMI logo right there. So lots of little details. Well under $300 for a watch like this is excellent, and they did a very good job in the design and overall delivery of a package at this price point. Even the case, like I said, the case shape, everything's a little bit original, and then you have sort of chamfered edge on the inside of the lugs, and on the outside of the case it is a polished edge. Of course, the case itself is basically brushed, but very, very nice. Very quickly, I'm going to throw it on my wrist, then we will do a Loom Shot, because obviously the Loom Shot on here is very, very good. Today I am wearing my new Ming. This is the Ming 1801 I recently purchased. Watch I'm very excited about. The bracelet on here is a little quirky, but all in all really nice and comfortable. It is grade 5 titanium, so it is very light. So here is the MMI on my 7.5 inch wrist. Now this is a much heavier watch. It does wear very, very nicely. I actually wore the prototype that was lent into the channel for quite some time, and I found it to be very comfortable. I found it to be a little bit thick, but considering that is a 300-meter dive watch, it's forgivable, and I mean just a little bit on the thicker side, not too bad. As you can see, H-link bracelet is very nice and is all brushed with those big screwed links. Of course, you get solid end links as well. This is a 40mm watch. I have a 7.5 inch wrist. It's around 13.5 millimeters thick with a 48mm lug to lug. And there you go. There it is. Really, really nice for the price. So very quickly, I'm going to throw it under some UV light, and you're going to see that date window sort of light up. I really like the date window on this watch. I said this in the original review that I did for the prototype, the first prototype that I reviewed, the second prototype, even their chronograph got this date window. I think it's really cool. I think it looks really good, and obviously it's there when you want it. It's not there when you don't want to see it. And normally I don't want to see the date. I want to see the symmetry that this offers. So that's why I like it. But in the dark, it actually lights up as well. Not incredibly useful because they don't loom the numbers for the date, but it looks kind of cool. It just gives you a little bit extra loom. Anyway, quickly, Loom Shot. So you can see the loom does not disappoint on this watch. The first 20 minutes on the bezel are loomed, and then of course everything else is loomed on the bezel itself. Then the chapter ring, or really the minute track, that is in a white sandy cream color, that is fully loomed. The hands are loomed. The pip on the second hand is loomed. The crown is loomed. And then the date, which you can see right there, is that little orange color. That, of course, is loomed. So not incredibly useful because you can't see the actual date, but it's just a little bit of extra color offered, and that's really the reason why I think they loomed it. Also, it's orange color, so it's really legible against that black background when you do want to see the date in direct sunlight or in a normal lit room. Tell me what you guys think about this watch down in the comments below. Of course, I will put a link down in the description. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of the price point here for what you're getting? A lot of brands offering some real specs for the money, and this is one of them. Tons of specs here, lots of loom, lots of little goodies, I think. Of course, well under $300, which is really unheard of, or was unheard of until recently, until recent years. Now it's becoming more commonplace, but still offering a lot of bang for the buck. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. What do you think about this watch? Please also don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog, all one word. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.